Hi everybody, how you guys doing tonight? Happy Thursday. It's my, I can never get the hang of Thursday's edition of Creative Live in the Studio, and I have a blank canvas here and some paints, and that's about it. Nothing planned up here. I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I hope you guys are having a good Thursday. I hope you're having a good week, and I hope you're outside doing sunshine dances and spring dances because we need spring. I am so feeling this cold weather and these gray days. It's depressing, but that's why I love art. That's one of the things that helps me, keeps me in good spirits. It keeps me feeling vibrant and energetic and fun, and for me it's great therapy and lets me forget about the gray days for a while. So thanks for joining me. I'll be checking in as we go throughout the night. I'm probably going to be painting maybe for 45 minutes or so. I'm not sure. Feel free to leave and come and go as you please. You don't need a wristband to get back in. That's a big plus of watching, right? So I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. I'm not sure. That's the fun part. Feel free to leave comments, questions for me in the chat box. Give me a thumbs up so I know that you're watching. And I always like to thank everybody who's watching. And I don't know who watched unless you leave a comment or leave a thumbs up. So before I continue on with the painting, I do have to bring my special guest on camera. He's always here. And I'm not talking about this guy back here, the Joker. See that guy back on the shelf? I mean, he's a guest, but he's not the special guest I'm talking about. I'm talking about this guy right here, Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob Ross is in the house, as always. So say hello to Bob. Bob, say hello to everybody. And that's it. So Bob will be joining us tonight, and he's always here, keep me going. And I always talk to myself anyway when I'm doing this, so I feel like at least I'm talking to someone in the room. So Bob's here, he's my buddy. And I'm talking to you guys too, right? So enough of looking at me. Let's look at the canvas over here and let's see what happens. If anybody's on, I'll give you a shout out. I can't see who's on. That's okay. But hi everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Let's go look at the canvas and let's just have some fun and do some painting. There you go. Hopefully you guys can see the canvas pretty clearly. So what do I have tonight out? I have the usual stuff. I have some paint brushes sitting in some water. I have a bunch of different acrylic paints all out here. Let's put them up top. Bunch of different colors. I have some greens, some blues, some purples, some yellows. I have a straw wrapper from something, which I don't think we're going to use, but who knows. It's out here for some reason. And what else do I have? I have my favorite inks I like to use, my Liquitex inks. I have some different colors, blue and yellow and orange and magenta. And this kind of a funky looking nuclear leftover green. I don't know what you call it, but it's vivid lime green. That sounds nicer. Vivid lime green. I love this color. It's so bright. Although when I put it on paper or canvas, it never comes out as bright as it is in the bottle. So if anybody watching out there has any idea why, let me know. I'm always up for suggestions and tips and input. And that's it. So let's see. We got the blank canvas. I'm just going to grab my 2-inch. No, let's go with the bigger brush. I'm going to grab my 3-inch brush here. And I'm going to move Bob just off to the side because I don't want him to get too... He's already got paint all over him. I don't want him to get too crazy because I don't know what's going to happen. So, Bob, I'm just going to put you right over here for now. Bob is in the Shamu splash zone, so he has his poncho on just in case he gets some paint on him. So, what are we going to start with? Let's start with... I don't know, I was talking about spring when I opened up, so I'm feeling kind of springish, Maybe some greens. Maybe we'll do a nice green background on here. Let's try, I have some green ink right here in a bottle. Let's put some ink on this. If I can get the bottle open. There we go. let's put some green ink on the canvas here. And I'm going to pour some of this ink into the palette. I'm only doing that because I can't fit my 3-inch brush in this little bottle. Although if I was Alice in Wonderland, maybe I could shrink down and do it. But I'm not Alice. And yes, and I have the obligatory green paint on my fingers already. Getting into the work, loving it. You can be messy with art. That's one of the fun things about it. So let's just brush some green on. I'm using a pre-stretched canvas here that I picked up at Michael's. They had good sales going on, so I figured I'd grab one. How's that looking? Is it showing up? Yeah, it's showing up. I'm not going to try to cover every square inch of this canvas with the green. I'm just going to lay it on a little bit here and there. I like that sound. And you can see I have some rough brush strokes in here. You can see it's not a very smooth stroke I'm doing. I'm just kind of brushing it on, leaving brush marks, which is fine. You take some more of that ink and put it on the brush. There we go. I'm going to put some up top here. Can move this water out of the way. I see one thumbs up. That's cool. Whoever left this thumbs up, thank you. I appreciate that. Thumbs up to you as well. If you have any questions or comments for me, feel free to type them out. Don't be shy. I'll try to answer them if I can. I always like to have a little conversation going on with you guys. Let's see. I'm just going to move this out of the way. There we go. I think that looks good. I'm going to leave these white areas you see here along the side, some up top. That's good for now. And we'll rinse the brush off and put in some water. I'm going to put the cap back on this bottle because otherwise I'm sure I'll end up spilling it. And that would not be pretty. Cool, so we'll let that dry. While it's drying, let's think. I'm always trying to think ahead a little bit. What should we do? I always like to mix, while this is wet, I like to mix more ink or run more ink over it while it's wet so it kind of bleeds together a little. So let's try, I don't know, let's use some of this color. Yellow orange. Yellow orange azo. A-Z-O. That's what it says. I don't know what that means. Azo. Azo? Azo. How do you say that? Bob, how do you say that? Azu? Azo? Is it Italian? We'll have to Google that one up. I think I'm going to just take the eyedropper that was in the ink bottle. I think I'm just going to kind of just let it bleed down to run down the canvas like this. I'm not even going to brush it on. Look at it. It's like off to the races here. Which one's going to win? This guy right here? And there's a straight line going towards the finish line. He's bleeding. He's cutting off, I don't know, Stinky Jones, who's in second place. Way back in last, we have Slowpoke Molasses back there. I'm not going to go into that business. This is actually kind of cool. It's this orange. It's very yellow, and then it's kind of green as it comes down. I like the way that's looking. That's interesting. We'll put a little bit more on. I got quiet. I'm sorry. I'm so mesmerized by by watching these ink trails run down the canvas. It's kind of hypnotic. That's cool. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm feeling like maybe a little in here. I don't know. Actually, I kind of like the balance of all the yellow up here balancing with the green space down there. So I don't think I'm going to add any more. Not at this point. I don't know if it's showing up very vibrant on camera, but this is very, very vibrant up here. It looks pretty cool in person. So that was our yellow-orange Azo, A-Z-O. Azu. Oh, I'm knocking over stuff. All right. So I'm going to let that dry for a second. I'm going to check in over here. So, what are you guys thinking? I'm feeling a little, what color should we use? Bright. I want to stay bright. It's not dry enough yet, but I definitely eventually want to use this. This is one of my favorite go-to colors for almost everything I do, is magenta. There's just something about magenta that it's like magnetic. I'm drawn to it. It's just so bright and cheerful and happy. Okay. I want to start doing some acrylics on here, but I can't really put the acrylic on while the ink is still wet. Although it's actually drying pretty fast. I'm surprised. It's drying very fast. So anybody out there do anything fun today? Anything exciting happen out there in Facebook land? I just broke out some violet. And I don't know if Scott's watching, but Scott, I always, I always mention violet. So if you're watching, this violet's for you, buddy. So I'm going to use a smaller brush. This is a 3/4 inch brush. And look, you can tell I've used magenta. It's on the brush. And this actually, it doesn't fit. I thought it was going to fit in my bottle here. And that's okay. I'm going to pour some of this out in a little pan on my palette. A pan on my palette. So I have some violet on the brush. I don't know. Just going to do some random brush strokes with the violet on here. Get a little wispy ends on there. Maybe I'll drag it through the other ink and we'll see what happens when you do that. I'm actually dragging the brush. I'm not using the flat part this way. I'm kind of pulling it sideways just to get thin lines at the end. I'll do it in slow motion. If I did it this way, the strokes would be much broader. I kind of want a thin stroke, so I'm using the thin part of the brush. Does that make sense? Sometimes things make sense in my head, but I don't know if that makes sense when I actually say them. So feel free to stop me anytime. Be like, yo, you actually did not make any sense. What did you say? So we got some here. Maybe we'll add some up in here as well. I'm going very lightly over this area. The brush is fairly dry. I don't want the violet to take over the area. I kind of want some of this nice green coming through in the background. And I'm just really putting the least amount of pressure on the brush and pulling it down. There we go. I don't know, maybe I'll do a little bit of the same idea over here. Just very lightly touching the canvas. Just like a whisper. It's a whisper. It's like we're at the library, right, Bob? We're whispering. There we go. Good. Where else should we do some violet? I'm just stepping back. I don't know. I'm feeling something in here. It's not looking so violet-y. Probably because there's no violet left on the palette here. I didn't get any on the brush. That's a good tip for the night. When you actually want to paint something, make sure you have paint on your brush. It usually helps. That piece of advice was worth the price of admission alone tonight. I'm feeling kind of whimsical and playful tonight, so, very loose, curvy shapes always go well with feeling whimsical. I don't want to overdo it. Might be good for now. Yeah, all right, I think that's enough violet. Hello, I'm checking in over here on the Facebook comments, and let's see what we got on the screen over here. You guys can see my lovely face for a minute. Can we do my hair first? Just kidding. Let's see, so I have, hey Tom, how are you? I'm using, thank you for your comment there, I'm using Winsor & Newton inks, and I also am using Liquitex acrylic inks as well. There you go, one of the cameras. Oh, interesting. Thank you for that tip. I appreciate the insight about, sometimes, when we're doing artwork, armed in artwork, I don't consider sun damage, ultraviolet rays, radiation, and how it could fade things. So that's a good tip. I definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you guys have any other tips, that's great. Could be about anything. It could be about life. It could be about proper ways to use mustard. I don't know. Anything you want. This is just time for us to hang out and chill out together. So enough of me. Let's go back to the canvas. Boom. Boom, we're back on canvas time. Just want to kind of touch it. It's drying pretty good, which I'm happy about. So I did mention magenta about 3 or 4 times. So I have this magenta ink. Let's bring magenta ink to the party. I was going to wait. I'll put some acrylics on. I don't know if I'll do acrylics on here tonight or not. I might wait for it to dry, and then tomorrow I'll add some acrylic paint. So let's keep going on. Let's keep going on with some of the inks. I love this color. This color makes me happy. What do we want to do with this? You know what? I think we're going to flip the canvas around. We're going to get crazy. It's time to get crazy. You all got your crazy hats on? Because we are turning this bad boy. Do you want to do 90 or 45? Let's see. I'm thinking too much about it. I think I'm feeling like keeping it this way. Boom. Like that. I want to make sure that's on screen. I might have to move the camera down a little bit. Bear with me. There we go. Part of my arm in the view there. Cool. Get some of these acrylic tubes out of the way. Let's put them over here for now. I also have this color I really want to use. I've only used it once before. Light portrait pink. So we'll be using that on this piece, I think. I'm just kind of going with like I always do, just kind of gut feelings and what what's my inside? What's it telling me? What colors to use? Just letting my kind of instinct just guide me on this. So I have this ink here, the magenta. Okay, everybody say it with me now. 1, 2, 3. Magenta. All right, this is dangerous. I'm actually going to have a shot on the floor here now. All right, this is going to run off onto the floor, but I have tons of it's a concrete floor and I have paint on it already, so if it runs off, it runs off. Oh, look at that. There we go. Now it's running down a little bit. No, not on the floor. I have a scrap paper. I'll catch some of it on scrap paper. So I'm just kind of using the eyedropper technique from before, and I'm just letting it run. Running wild. Look, we got bubbles. Little bubbles there. You know it's a party when you have bubbles in the house, right? We got the bubbles going. I'm not talking about Michael Jackson's chimp. Didn't he have a pet chimp named Bubbles? Yes, my friends, that's the beauty of live painting. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth. And we'll just do a couple more stripes on this end over here. Sorry if I was blocking the view there. Here we go. I don't want to get too crazy with magenta right now because I feel like if I put more of this on right now, it really would start to dominate the painting, and I don't want it to do that. Very cool. So I have my handy dandy scrap paper here, catching some of the drips and drabs. You can see this is my scrap sheet I'm working on now. Whenever I do paintings, I always have a scrap piece of paper by and to brush things off or to test things on. So that's a good tip to always have something like that around. Nice. Just going to let that run down the canvas. Now, do I want to flip it now? If I flip it, the wet ink's going to run the other way, but you know what? Why not? There are no rules. No rules in this world here tonight. We can do whatever we want. So you can see when I flip it, I have some running down there, which is fine. I have no problem with it. Nice. All right, we're going to let that dry. And while that's drying, let's think about what should we do. I'm going to let you guys actually vote on something. Whoever's watching, if you, we're going to pick out a couple of options here, and I'm going to let you guys vote for which one I should do. All right, I have some orange ink here. I have some what else do I have over here? I have blue ink. I have brown. I have black. All right, so All right, these are the choices. So if anybody's watching and you want to write in the comments, these are the choices. I have blue, black, brown, or orange. So just put in the comment box what color you think, what color we should put on here next. This is a collaboration, right? Me with you guys. I'm gonna vote too. What the heck? I'm not bashful. I'm voting for Bob. What should we do? Should we do that one? Bob and I are gonna collaborate here. All right. So this is our choice. Awesome. So it looks like the winner is orange. Who would have thunk, Bob? We got our choice. Yes. Awesome. Let's do orange. I think I want to brush the orange on. I don't want to do our little drippy method we were doing before. So let's do some brushing. I'm going to use my 1-inch brush. I don't want to. I don't really want to run the orange over the magenta right now. The magenta's still wet, and I kind of want to keep these lines kind of like they are. If I was to run the orange over them now, I would start blending the colors together, and so I'm going to stay away from those. But maybe up top we'll put some get some orange up here. I don't know if you can see the top because I moved the camera before. Let's raise up. Up we go, up we go. There we go. You can see the top now. Oh no, runaway orange. All right, that's what it wants to do. We'll let it go there. No stopping it. We want the orange to be happy, right? So if that's where it wants to travel to, we'll let it travel. We all have our own paths to travel in life. Who am I to stop orange from going where it wants to go? I'm actually liking the way this looks up here. Very cool. Yeah, see here you can see how what color is that? Was that orange? That's weird. I'm not sure why this magenta was running down. Maybe I got some orange. I don't know. I don't know what happened. So this is just the first layer on this painting. It's I'll end up adding at least 2 more layers to it to give it more interest, to bring more things out. I think the next thing I'm going to do with it is go over it with some acrylic paints. So this is kind of the just a background to get started with. Good. That's cool. I really like the way the orange looks on the top of the painting here. Although I'm calling that the top, it might not end up being the top of the painting. I don't know which way the final orientation is going to go. It might stay like that. It might get switched around. Not sure yet. All right, that's enough orange for now. Speaking of oranges, I'm going to grab a drink of water here if I can find it. All right, I'm back from my water break. All right, let's go back again. So, just want to say hello to everybody watching. If you're watching live, awesome, I appreciate it. If you're watching this taped, still awesome, I still appreciate it. Be sure to share this with people you know. I'd love to have more people enjoy this and just hang out and, you know, chill in the studio for a little bit. Chill with me and Bob. Because if Bob's in the house, you know it's going to be a good time. So let's get back to the painting. We're just doing a little abstract tonight. Kind of feeling, I started with green. I was feeling kind of like, hey, where is spring? So I'm trying to bring my own spring into the world. So I started with some green as a background and just layered different color inks on top of it. Yeah, so I'm not sure what do we want to do next, Bob? Let's grab some, you know, I want this to dry. There's some dry areas. So I think in the dry areas, I'm going to start painting some acrylic paint. And what colors are we going to break out? I only mentioned magenta like 1,000 times. Now I can't find it. I have a magenta. You know what? I think I want to actually try some of this. Some light portrait pink. Give it a shot. We'll just see what happens. Grab a brush and put a little bit of this in my palette. Not like the palette of my mouth. I have like a painter's palette. I'm not eating the paint. Now, if it was paste, maybe. Just kidding. That was back in elementary school. Those days are done. All right, pardon my reach for a second. I gotta grab some paper towels, so you'll get a good view of my back or side or something. All right. Thank you. All right, so I have a brush here. I'm gonna use. Let's go with the 3/4 inch brush and put a little bit of water on it. I'm gonna grab some of that pink color we were just looking at on the brush. And I don't know, where do we want it? Maybe we want it here, because guess what? That's where it's going. Maybe we'll add some over in here as well, just on the edges. Now I don't want it to be even, like an even tone on here, so I'm going to leave some areas dark, some lighter, just to give variety to it. You know, this is all about building up layers. So what we're looking at here is definitely not the final piece. It'll change. It might change a lot. That was interesting. What just happened there? Actually, I really like this color. I don't know if it's coming through on camera, but it's, especially when it's in thicker areas, it's really has a nice, I don't know, it's almost like a calming, it's very soothing tone. Speaking of soothing tones, I could sing if you like. No, just kidding. I won't do that. I definitely won't do that. I promise. That's a different show. So when the brush strokes I'm not doing straight strokes. I'm kind of doing slow here. Just kind of pulling the brush and just twisting it. I'm just trying to create different movement with the strokes. I'm just filling in pieces. I don't want to think about it too serious about where I want this to go right now. I'm just kind of, that's why I'm going pretty rapid here, just adding this color in random places. There we go. You see how I accidentally picked up some orange on the brush? That's okay. This is all about spur of the moment. It's not, like I said, this isn't a calculated painting where I can't have certain colors in certain areas. It's not. I can be very loose and flexible and open-minded and just see where things go, how things turn out. I believe you can always, I don't know what the expression is. You can always turn nothing into something. Is that an expression? No, it sounds like it could be on a t-shirt or something. You can always turn nothing into something. You might notice me doing this a lot when I'm painting. It's just kind of me it's almost like a divining rod when you're looking for water, right? The rod will go to where the water is. So I'm kind of doing this and it'll just kind of tell me where to put the color. It sounds kind of weird, but sometimes that's just how I'll paint. Actually, I think we'll put a little more on here. Some more on the palette. Now I'm painting lightly down here. Actually, I'm going to see if I can get a close-up for you. Let's go to close-up mode. Pardon my hand. There. Ooh, look, we're getting closer. So, right there. So if you can see here, I'm painting very lightly over the canvas. And I like the texture that's showing through. If I put the paint on thick, we would lose this textured area. So I'm purposely going light. I'm whisper painting again, right, Bob? Whisper painting. So you can see how that leaves some texture there when you go ever so lightly on the canvas. This is actually cool. Moving this around. Let's see. What else? Let's paint on here. Whoa! I wanted to get you guys dizzy, but just give me a little close-up of what's going on here. This is extreme close-up mode. So you can get a really good sense of what's happening. If you look over in this area here, you see how the ink is still wet. You can see the little blob at the end of ink. I like that. And when it dries, it's going to dry like kind of this area in here. Will be a nice dark mark there. Mark! Hey Mark, if you're watching, that was for you. Mark! So there you go. That's a little close-up. Here's my palette I'm talking about that I'm working with. That's where I've been putting all my paints and colors and whatnot on. There you go. The palette is almost an art piece within itself, right? With all those colors on it. I can imagine taking a frame and putting it around the palette. Yeah, so now you can see my lovely floor with paint all over it. So I'm happy that I have no carpeting in this room. So there you go. That was a little bit of close-up for you of the painting. That was fun. That was like taking a field trip without having needing a permission slip, right? Cool. So I'm going to take a water break, go on camera, and we'll look, see if there's any other comments. Hello, it's me, I'm back. If you're watching, be sure to give me a thumbs up so I know you're watching and I can say hello to you. Otherwise, I have no idea if anybody's watching or not watching. This was me. This is me watching me put my cap on the bottle. So it's 10:14 on Thursday night, headed towards the weekend. Let's hope the weather gets better and warmer and sunnier. That would be fantastic because I know I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait to get outside and do some photography. I always love getting out there in nature and doing photography. Doing photography. I guess you could say that. Taking photos of nature, flowers, and skies and things like that. Yeah, it's all good. So that's me. So hello. Let's go back to the painting over here. And voila, there we are. Back to the painting. This is the French portion of the show. We're going to talk like this. Is that a French accent? We're going to talk like this and we're going to paint on the canvas. Just like this. Very nice, right? Ooh la la, c'est magnifique. So that was the light portrait pink. And now we're going to go to a different color. Alright. Enough of that craziness. So I'm just cleaning my brushes off here, just in water. You can see I have some different sized brushes in here. Bucket of water that was clean, now it's looking kind of, I don't know what color it is. Purple? Purplish? Bluish? Blackish? Orangish? I don't know. Nice. So let's see, what colors I have? I have some orange acrylic paint. I have some white. I have some more orange here. I guess maybe someone's telling me I should use orange. I have another orange here. I have like 3 orange. Oh, well, the other one's over here. Let's break out some brilliant purple. Right here, close up of it. Liquitex, I love your products if you're watching. Good stuff. That's right. Feel free to use me as a sponsor if you like. I will always take free art supplies because they're not cheap. Unless you have coupons. Michael's has good coupons. Good sales. Yeah, I'd love to open up like an art supply store. I think that'd be cool. like an art supply store slash gallery. How awesome would that be? That would be fun. All right, so we're going to do some painting with this purple. I don't know. Where should we put some? Here? Okay. I'm just randomly filling in some of these spaces. I'm doing some of that whisper painting we were talking about, right, Bob? Oh, Bob fell on the floor. How did that happen? I'm so sorry. My buddy was on the floor. Whisper painting, we're just gently gliding across the canvas just to get the texture underneath coming through. Sorry, Bob, I'm going to move you here because I don't want to get purple paint on your head. There we go. You know what? I feel like I'm being too careful with this color, so I'm just going to do this. Just loosen up a little bit and just drag it. It's okay if I get some of the pink in there. Just kind of drag some of the colors across a little bit. Maybe we'll do a little bit this way. Maybe we'll drag this a little bit. There we go. We'll do some across the bottom here. This paint's drying fast. I could tell because it's very tacky when I'm putting it on here. It's not really dragging across the canvas. But I have this stuff I could add to it. It's called slow dry blending medium. And if you mix that with your acrylic paint, it'll keep the open time longer. I think they call it the open time. That's the amount of time you have to work with the paint before it dries. There we go. You could also put a little bit of water on your brush and it'll thin the paint out. Make it a little bit more more fluid in motion. There we go. Good. Good. I think that's enough for the purple for now. I'm going to let that dry and then just take a step back and look at it. All right. Hope you guys are having fun, relaxing, watching me do some painting. It's all good, right? It's all good. It's a good way to wind down the night. You know, It's been a crazy week at work for me. This isn't a complaint. And again, sometimes I talked about this thing last time. Sometimes you have those days where you feel like you're working all day, but you don't really get much done, right? Sometimes that's frustrating, or sometimes the day is crazy, out of control, or things didn't go as you planned, which I guess would be out of control, right, Bob? Right. So we all need some kind of outlet to help us regain our composure, our sanity, and just to get back in touch with who we are and ourselves. And so this is one of the ways for me that I love doing that. It's very therapeutic, just a great way just to get back in touch with me. It's not really, in this case, it's really not about the end product. It's about the process and enjoying the process and reestablishing that connection that we sometimes lose with ourselves because we're so focused on the needs and the demands of others and other things happening that we get lost. So art for me and creativity for me is a way of getting unlost, a way of finding that direction, that road back home, to what's inside here. Because if I lose this connection with what's inside here, and this is true, I think, for everybody, and then we don't have this connection here with ourselves, how could we possibly connect with other people, successfully or positively? I don't think we can. So whatever it is for you, if it doesn't have to be artistic, it could be anything. It could be sports, it could be music, it could be writing. I don't know, I guess these things are artistic, some of them, but you get the point. It could be doing crossword puzzles, it could be taking a walk, watching a movie, whatever it is that reconnects you with you, the capital Y-O-U, it's important. We usually end our painting sessions with our deep thoughts, don't we, Bob? That's okay. I was feeling it now, so we figured I would just put that out there. So that's really, that's one of my joys for being able to do this is, I love painting and showing you guys stuff. But really, it's about positivity and being very hopefully motivational and inspirational on many different levels. So I hope you can connect with that. But enough of that good stuff. Let's get back to this good stuff for a few more minutes. Probably paint for 10 or 15 more minutes. We'll wrap up for the night. So let's go back to the painting. Boom. Magic of technology. Gotta love it. And just, what I said to you before, just put that in the upper file cabinet and just think about it. And I'd love to know if you have any thoughts or comments about that. Don't be bashful. This is a loving community we have going here. Let's keep it going. It's positive. So we stepped away from this a little bit, and I'm going to move Bob because I think it's time to go back into crazy mode. I don't know. How do we want to paint it? Do we want to do it this way? I'm just taking a look. It's kind of cool. Or do we want to do, maybe we'll work on it this way for a little bit. Again, I'm not really sure which direction it's going to end up being in the final version. This is just a first day working on it. We'll spend a couple more, probably 1 or 2 more sessions working on it. Yeah, let's keep it oriented this way for a while. And I feel like I need something really bright and vibrant. And that is the cue for, can we do the drum roll? Anybody, drum roll? That's the cue for the color I've been talking about for the past, how many minutes now? 56 minutes and 10 seconds. Magenta. Yes. I've been wanting to use this magenta on this painting, and I think we're going to do it now. So let's break out some magenta acrylic. I'm going to put it on my palette. Move some of these bottles off of here. So if anybody have any fun weekend plans coming up? Anything good? Anything good going on? Share, I'd love to know. All right, we got some magenta on there, and I'm actually going to go over to my, I'm going to have to cut in front of the camera, so I apologize. I'm going to go grab another paintbrush, which is on the other side of the room. Oh, I'm moving. That's okay. So, hello, this is a close-up of me. Goodbye. All right, let me grab a brush over here. I'm feeling, let me grab a couple. I got this one, maybe this one here, and then maybe this one. I'm feeling like wispy. I'm feeling wispy. Let's do some wispy painting. Ooh, I just kicked the tripod. So I just picked up 3 different brushes over there. No particular order or choice. I'm feeling wispy, meaning like really, I want to do something really loose and fun. So let's try this brush. You'd think I would know the technical name. They call it round. So I'm going to call it a round brush. It's got a round tip on it. So let's use this. I'm going to take some of that slow drying medium and put it over here by the magenta because I want it to be really loose and fluid so I can almost draw with it using the paintbrush. In order to do that, I got to thin it out. So this slow drying medium helps with that. So I'm mixing it now in the palette. There we go. So let's go for it. Let's give it a shot. Hopefully it's wispy. So I was feeling wispy. I was feeling some a little bit of wispiness going on like this. You know, maybe there's more. There we go. You know, it's quiet in here. I usually have music playing and I forgot to put it on. Lots of times I'll paint with the music. So I actually have some music playing in my head. If anybody can guess the music that's playing in my head now, you win a prize. Just take a guess. I love this color. You know, red used to be my favorite color. I think, I hate to say this, red, but I think there's a new color in town. And its name is magenta. Gotta make the sound effects when you paint like Bob Ross, right, Bob? You still back there? Yep. You know, Bob would go, you know, we gotta make these noises. Sounds like a fly swatter. All right. Who was that guy? There was a guy who was, I think he was in the Police Academy movies. He could do like all these amazing sound effects with just his voice. That guy was awesome. And I'm still not that guy. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Let's see, maybe up here we'll do some. Yeah, the paint's drying a little bit on the brush. I'm gonna actually add a little bit of water to it. That's good. Actually, I'm gonna put more paint in the palette. More paint in the palette, pal. Can you please put more paint in the palette, pal? Perchance. peacefully? Can you please peacefully put some paint in a palette pal, perchance? I'm like in tongue twister mode. It's all about having fun. You gotta have fun. Otherwise, what's the point? What is the point if it's not fun? I guess the point, if it's not fun, I guess the point is that it's not fun, right? The point of doing things that are not fun are so that you realize what the fun things are. Ah, here we go. I just want to put some really thick areas of this on here so that it really pops. And we'll put some right over this. Cool. I don't know, where should I put some more? Get some more on the brush here. There we go. I'm just dragging the brush and kind of twisting it as I drag it across, just to see what kind of interesting texture, or brush stroke it makes. And it usually helps if there's paint on the brush to do that. That was my biggest lesson for tonight, is I gotta make sure I keep putting paint on the brush. That would help. There we are. Let's try it now. This is what I was trying to do. One of the fun things about painting is just trying different techniques with your brushes, and even painting with this end of the brush sometimes, where maybe you could do it. Let's try something. I don't know. Never did it before. Maybe just take that into the brush and we put some paint on. We can just use it to stipple some dots on the canvas, right? It's good to think outside the box. Ooh, this is fun. This is fun. Oh, I got some dried paint on here. Let me wipe that off. So yeah, I'm just using the end of the paintbrush and I'm just kind of stippling or putting dots on the canvas here. If anybody out there is watching, went to architecture school, you know what stippling is, right? Remember the good old days, stippling your drawings? We would put dots, these kinds of dots on our drawings. I remember doing it a lot for like elevation drawings, the outside of buildings, to show the texture of maybe like a plaster finish on the building, stucco finish on the building. That's what I was trying to think of. So I'm just dabbing this on here, all different sizes, random sizes of dots, and big ones and small ones. I'm actually going to put a little more paint in the palette, and I think I'll do some more dots with the magenta, and that'll be it. That'll be it for tonight. adding these dots is almost as mesmerizing as watching the ink run down the canvas. Nice. That is fun. I think I want to put some more up top here. Well, I could do it this way. Let me try doing it with the actual brush part of the brush. Get some bigger dots this way, right? There we go. That's cool. Very cool. So by putting these random dots kind of throughout the entire painting, at least for me, it's helping to kind of pull this mishmash. I don't mean in a negative way mishmash, but to pull this mishmash of stuff that's happening, kind of at least pulling it together with a common theme, if that makes sense. You know, we have dots here and dots there and dots here. It's kind of pulling it all together. Sometimes it's good to have a common thread running throughout your piece. Unless you want it to be totally crazy random. But if you want something, some common denominator, you know, or a common thread, it sometimes is helpful to just kind of level the playing field of the painting, so that one part of the painting is not saying it's more important than another part of the painting. That's, of course, if you want something to be more important, you could totally do that. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's good for the... I can't stop putting the pink dots on. Oh no. I thought I was done, and then I saw some spaces here. Boom. I think that's good for the pink dots for now, so I'm going to clean the brush off. My finger enjoyed it. Lovely magenta finger. Sounds like that was a James Bond movie, right? Magenta finger? No. I know, Bob, that was a bad joke. That was stupid. Right, Bob? Yeah. Bob's never a fan of my jokes. Why is that? Why is that, Bob? Let me clean up the brush. There we go. I'm just wiping my finger off here. I don't want to get pink everywhere. Cool. All right, let's take a step back. Take a look at it. You guys want to see a close-up again? I'll do a little close-up action like we did before. I'll bring the camera in just so you can see some of the texture. I was going to say details and texture, and I combined it to Dexter, which I think was a movie or a TV series. But anyway, let's see some more of the detail and texture. So I'll zoom up a little bit. So let's see, where do we want to go? So you can see the pink dots I was putting on probably much better now. Closer up. I'm going to see if I can find... All right, let's do we're going to do a little wrap up here. I'm going to go over a couple of things we did on the painting, and then we'll end up with our little happy chat. So let's look at this. I want to show you a few areas. Let's look at... See if I can get the... Sorry, I'm moving this around. Multitask. Here we are. So let's look at this area in here. Maybe I can set this down without me moving so much. Oh, that's good. So let's look at this area in here. So I was talking about texture coming through on the canvas. This is an example of that. You can see where I was a whisper painting. Shh, whisper. Right, Bob? We call it whisper painting, where we just very gently glide the brush over the canvas. And by by doing that, it allows the texture of the canvas to canvas. Now I'm going to Sean Connery mode. It allows the texture of the canvas to it allows the texture of the canvas to show through. So that was an example of that. What else do we want to talk about? So what else can we see on this view here? You gotta move it up. All right. Here you can see a close-up of the dots. This was a stippling technique. Just, taking our paintbrush and dabbing it and making dot shapes. So there's a close-up of the stippling technique on there. These lines here, you can see the yellow lines running down. And the magenta lines going horizontal. That was our like drip painting technique. We let the ink just drip down the canvas to get those textures. What else did we do? We did a little bit of, I call wispy or whimsical elements. I got shaky hands. So what I mean by that is wispy is just being very loose with your brush strokes. So I have these kind of curved shapes in here. Just being very loose. And one of the reasons I liked doing that is it contrasts with the horizontality and verticality. Them is some fancy words, huh? With the verticality and horizontality of the, I'm cracking myself up with the lines here. So it adds some detail and texture. And yeah, I think that's a few of the pointers we talked about. So we'll just give a little pan of the close-up and then we'll put the camera back over there. We'll wrap up. Try not to get seasick. This is the cruise ship edition of painting. A little seasickness. All right, let's put this back here. Excellent. Cool. Can we see it again? We're back on. That's back on. So let me grab Bob. And we'll wrap up for the night. Let's try a little split screen fun. Let's see if this works. Oh, it works. Split screen, right? I'm here, and the painting's over here. Here. How do I do this? This is weird. This is very strange. So, how wish we wrap up with tonight, Bob? Let's see. We talked about a lot of things. I forget around what time, if you guys are watching this, just joining now or towards the end. I don't know, maybe somewhere around 50 minutes or so, I'm not sure. We did a little positivity talk there, and we had a little lesson. Can't remember what it was about. It was a spur of the moment thing, as these always are. But it was probably worth going back and watching if you do. I think it has something to do with getting in touch, how to get in touch with yourself. That connection between us and our inner selves gets rusty. And as I was saying before, one of the ways for me to keep that connection from being rusted is to do creative things like painting or drawing, photography. That's my thing. Everybody else has their own, and just make time. Even if you spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, just keeping that connection between you and your inner self. There, Bob on camera. Keeping that connection strong and clean. I think it'll help you not only to be a better person with yourself, but to help be a better person with everybody else around you. Right? That was one thing we talked about earlier. Bob, what else? How do we want to end tonight? We're consulting here. I don't know. Maybe we said it all while we were painting. Just want to say gratitude. Let's end with a note about gratitude. Here, and I'm going to relate a story. Sometimes we all have issues sometimes and problems, and it's okay. It's part of life. But sometimes we put them way out of perspective. So here, an example is, last week I went to measure a house. It was a house that had burned. down, not completely, but about half of it. And the bottom camera. And the owner of the house is an 85-year-old man. And he was home when I was measuring this house, and my heart was broken. He was talking to me. His wife had passed away, not from the fire, but a few months before. And he started crying. A total stranger, never met him before. And here, I'm worrying about a broken pipe on my house, which is a problem. It has to be fixed, but it's not, it's not in perspective. I had to put it in perspective. Another part of the story is, this man, I felt so bad. I didn't know what to do. The only way I knew to help this man, besides doing drawings and stuff for him, was just, while I was talking to him, just to listen to him, listen to him grieve, be upset. And I gave the guy a hug. He was a stranger. I mean, sometimes it's gestures, simple gestures, that could go a really, really long way. And I know I forget that often. When I left this man's house, I felt like I had known him for a long time. And I was leaving, and the guy said, Jason, God bless you. You're a good man. And he said that, and I knew that I did what I had to do, and my job was done. So don't be afraid, to be compassionate. Listen to other people. Listening is very important. It's a skill that a lot of people don't have the patience for. We're going all over the place, but this is good. This is important stuff. Developing a good sense or a good skill for listening to others, I think it's critical. Too often we're quick to not even listen. We want to get our own words in. We've got to talk fast, cut people off. I know people that do that, and it drives me crazy. Take a moment, listen to what the other person's saying, connect to them, maybe on a deeper level than you would have if you didn't listen, and just be there. I think that's a good note for the night. What do you think, Bob? High five. Yeah. So on that note, thank you for watching this. Please, if you share this with your friends, it's not just about painting. It's about bonding, communicating, community, and positivity. My goal really is to get the positivity, inspirational messages out there. I just happen to do it while I'm painting. You guys are awesome. I appreciate everybody so much. Thank you. Couldn't do this without you, or my family who's back there somewhere. They're awesome and supportive. And tomorrow's Friday. Looking forward to the weekend. Hope you guys have a great night, great weekend coming up. And I think that's it. So on that note, I just would like to say peace and live creatively. Thanks for joining me on The Inspired Life, and we'll be back again real soon. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you. And please be sure to tune in again, because we're going to be continuing this and wrapping this up next time or two when you paint. Good night. Peace and live creatively. Thanks.